Like when I would go to radio stations all over the country, and I'd be like, "Hey, any caller, call in right now. I'll give you $1,000 cash if you could repeat. One in a battle, a man in my level, get him a bullet and drop, and he thought of a man that'll try to get wise." And no one was ever able to do it. Pero uno when I'm all there.
This the Prodcast with the Prodigy. This the Prodcast with the Prodigy. This the Prodcast with the Prodigy. My podcast.
All right, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Prodcast. Today we have a very special guest, known as Mr. Lil One. Welcome to the show. Glad to have you. How have you been?
I'm good, man. I'm glad to be here. You know, man, you're a full-grown dude now. You know what I'm saying? I've known you for a long time. It's good to be here. I'm glad to, I'm here to support, and I'm glad to be here.
You know me before I knew you knew me.
Yeah, for sure, bro.
All right, let's just get straight into it. Now, you're widely respected easily as one of the best Latin lyricists and Chicano rappers, I would say.
Right.
And kids today, I believe, still listen to your music, grow up listening to music coming off of, like, people that grew up with your music in, like, your age. I feel like they still listen to it nowadays. I hear it a lot at, like, my schools and other schools like that, which I think is pretty cool. And I just wanted to ask a little bit about your childhood. Where did you grow up at?
I grew up in Southeast San Diego, a neighborhood called Sherman, about 10 minutes away from downtown San Diego. It was still is one of the most brutal neighborhoods in San Diego.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy. What was your family like growing up?
Well, my mom was abandoned when she was 12. Like, her mom brought her down from, like, Mexico City and took her to an ice cream parlor and left her there. So another family raised her. So when she was, like, old enough to bounce out, she left because they would mistreat her and stuff. So she came down to the States from Mexico, and then we were born. So it was really just us. Like, we don't have, like, cousins and aunts and uncles and grandparents. It was just, like, us. You know what I'm saying?
It's like restarting a whole entire generation of, like, the
that's
family.
exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Like my son being here, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the next generation of the bloodline.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
What did she do to, like, help support you guys? What did she work?
My mom would clean houses. She would sell jewelry. You know, your typical Mexican lady trying to make a buck. You know what I'm saying? And she died young, though. You know, she died when she was 43 years old. She got sick when she was 38. She had a brain tumor. So, you know, like, my two older brothers had the same dad, and my two younger brothers, my brother and my sister, had the same dad. So when she got sick, the dads came and bounced. So that's how I was raised in the jungle, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did your dad do for work, or what did he?
I don't know. Like, I just met that dude, like, recently.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How long ago was that?
Maybe a few years, maybe like 4 or 5 years ago.
Dang, that's crazy. Wait, how did you meet him? Like, through,
so
like,
I was
internet?
I was in Mexico City at the Mexico City airport, waiting for a flight to Rodriguez, and so I'm chilling at this restaurant, and I got my mom's face tattooed on me. So this lady walks by and she, like, recognized the tattoo. So she asked me if that was my mom, by my mom's name. And I said, yeah. So she said, like, "You're Reyes," like, my name. And I'm like, yeah. She's like, "Yo, I just ran into your dad, like a week ago. I have his number right here. I'm your mom's childhood friend." So I'm like, okay. So she gave me the number. So I called this dude. So a couple hours later, he's at the airport with his wife and his kids. And it was a crazy story. I followed him back to his crib, and he had, like, a little dungeon, and he had, like, all my CDs, so he knew who I was and shit. And, that's where that was. But by the time I met him, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've already James Bond the damn world, you know what I'm saying? So I don't need anything from him, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's he gonna do? You know what I'm saying? Like, he's scared of me,
Yeah, that's crazy.
So, yeah, but, I mean, he's a cool guy, He's got a family. And his story is the same.
Yeah.
His family abandoned him. So he doesn't have any, family. It's just him, his wife, and his kids are his family.
Yeah.
Same thing.
That's crazy. Found your dad because of your tattoo of your mother.
Yeah, dude.
That's really crazy.
Imagine this. If I would have never had that portrait, she would have walked by, would have had all this generational power. It would have just, it would have never connected. It's like there's gasoline and there's matches. If there's no engagement, there's no fire, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy, bro.
That is pretty crazy. Let's go into rapping, big part of your life. How did you start getting into rapping? What made you like gain motivation to actually take it seriously?
So, I grew up in the breakdancing era, where hip hop and breaking were like in symbiosis with each other. They went hand in hand.
Yeah.
So, you know, obviously I was like absolutely fascinated with the hip hop world. You know, that's when the movie the Juice Crew and, you know, Breaking came out and all that stuff. So, you know, they had career day when I was in elementary school. So there was like a little booth with San Diego Police, Fire Department, fucking engineering, NASA, and 92.5, the radio people. So I went and I sat down with the on-air dude. So he gave me a 12-inch of the Beastie Boys, and it had an instrumental on the other side. That's it, bro. It was over after that. You know what I'm saying? So then I found out about a dictionary and thesauruses. So instead of saying things like, you know, I'm wanted and I'm tired, I would say like, I'm a fugitive on the run and I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I would get a little bit more creative. And then I started looking up philosophy and I started understanding quotations and quotes and like murder has no tongue, but it speaks for itself.
Yeah.
You know, like when your dreams turn to dust, vacuum, shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So I understood that you could really relay something really powerful and be clever about it. So, I mean, it was really interesting to be able to see that a lot of these quotes and a lot of these, you know, metaphors were written hundreds of years ago.
Yeah.
Which was nuts for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I got completely fascinated with history and philosophy and, you know, authors and shit like that. So even though I grew up in the environment, the gang culture, you know, my mind was always somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like really curious, like, of how to get to the moon. Like, you know, who picked out the font and the stop sign?
Yeah.
You know, who came up with green is go and yellow's yield and fucking red is stop?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I would be fascinated with things like that. You know what I mean? Like, I would be like, well, why is the word rage in storage? Or why is the word lie in the word believe? You know what I'm saying? It's crazy, bro. Like, it was crazy. Everyone thought it was insane.
I think that's what plays such a big part in like Chicano music, and especially listening to your music, that it's different compared to other people, especially nowadays with rap. I feel like people are getting more into it for like the love of like the image of it, not really of what like you know, rap and hip hop is actually about, and like expressing yourself in all these different ways. They're kind of just doing it to like get a check or just like do it because it's cool, you know?
No, you're absolutely right. Like, you got to remember, like, we come from another time. We come from it when it was pure, when it was uncut. You know what I'm saying? When it was real hip hop, it was really about lyrics. It was like raw beats, and you had to say some shit.
Yeah.
Eric B. and Rakim, Curtis Blow, Run DMC, like, those were real MCs.
Yeah.
Even Run DMC could come at their age right now and out rap 95% of the rappers right now.
Yeah, easily.
But that is because the whole world is polluted with all these artificial images, like you said. You know, people are more infatuated with being famous, you know, having chains, flossing money. If you notice, the pure dudes that are really like rooted in gang culture, they'll wait for the kid to floss his money and find out where he's at through social media and murder him.
It's just yeah.
Like, this isn't a game. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
some people find that out the fucked up way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel like people will like believe that they're really like into something or like true to like what they say over like a rap or a lyric, and then like you said, they find out through social media just bad things happen, and then they realize that there's actually people that are still like meaning what they say in these lyrics, but it's just I'm not, and it's like it could get you in like some trouble.
Well, you know, the environment is a big part of it.
Yeah.
You know, when you feel safe, you can be brave because there's no threat. When there's a threat to you, the dynamic of your emotion changes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, there's killers in jail right now that never committed a crime in their life until that day. They got peer pressured into it and did a drive-by and killed someone. But then there's killers that actually get gratification from taking your life. There's a difference. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, there's a difference even just in hip-hop. Like, there's rappers and then there's artists. There's beat makers and then there's producers. There's contenders and there's champions. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And in the world that we live in, because a lot of people are not aware that they're aware, is a whole lot of that. So, you know, it's kind of hard to filter it out if you're not in the midst of that. So, like they say, you know, clowns hang out with clowns. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of people like in radio and in television that are giving all these people exposure that have leadership titles but are not leaders.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, if even like Flossie's a very well-respected dude from the very beginning till right now, because he's a real leader doing leadership things, from Mexicans to whites to blacks to urban America to Mexican America to white America. But he's a real leader that honors his title. You know, he doesn't give a fuck if you got loot. If he doesn't like you, he won't fuck with you.
Yeah.
That says a lot.
Yeah, it does. I just wanted to ask you, I probably know the answer to this, but if you remember your first track, your first song that you ever made and released.
Yeah, it was an actual track or an actual song?
Like the first song, the first ever piece of music that you ever put out.
Like business-wise? Like,
No, just like your first ever, like if you were just making it like with your friends and like.
oh
sending it
yeah,
to your friends.
so when I was a kid, I did the neighborhood rap for Sherman.
Mm-hmm.
And the local DJ had Genius of Love instrumental. So I went over there and I was like, you know, all you party people don't know who I am. My name was Little One from the Sherman gang. So a fucking ghetto superstar was born, but I was like 12. I was my son's age. So the big killers would come to my house and tell my mom, yo, we need to borrow him. We'll be right back. And they would take me to all the house parties in Southeast San Diego, and I would walk in. You know how Floyd Mayweather has his bodyguards and shit?
Yeah.
So I would go straight to the booth and rap and then go back home. So no one will fuck with me. Even by the time I went to like junior high and like high school, like I had that attachment. So it was just like an unspoken thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, people knew better than to ever come across me because I had that attachment since I was really young. Plus the breakdancing shit. Mm-hmm. I was really popular as a breakdancer. So my name was like in the midst of the gang culture really young.
How long did you do breakdancing for?
Just, you know, till I got old enough to load up a M1.
How did your friends react when they saw you rapping at these parties? Or I guess they might have been too young for you to go to those parties.
Yeah, it was, you know, it was like whatever. Yeah. But by the time that I really like got into the game and actually recorded an album, you know, I was probably 18 years old. So again, the pollution of the environment Because there's some people that purely don't want to see you be happy.
Yeah.
There's some people that you may have known all your life that don't want to see you be successful. There's some people that are subliminally wishing that a car hits you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, all the time.
Especially when, you're great at what you do. You know what I'm saying? Like a person that has insecurities about themselves will wish that upon you. So there was a lot of, it was divided. Some of my homies were real to me. Some of them were fake to me. And some of them were, let's see what I can get out of this. And, like I told you, so because the dynamic of my thinking was like on some other shit, because see, you're raised to believe that there's honor and there's loyalty to what you represent, right? So then these same dudes become dope fiends, and they're no longer honor what they talk about because they're crackheads. So these same dudes want to screw their homies' wives when they're going to jail, rob you when you ain't looking because they're strung out on crack. So then you have to question, what are you really being loyal to?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, really? Like, I'm going to really jeopardize my life and go get half my brain blown out? For what? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and that's the power of you understanding, where you need to divert to without being disloyal, to yourself.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, because that's what it boils down to. Look, anything that you do has to be done with sincerity. That's why some bank robbers are the best bank robbers in the world. That's why, some homicidal dudes that's just what they're sicarios, they're assassins. That's what they do. Mm-hmm. Some strippers, they're the best strippers. You know what I'm saying? And when you're sincere about what you do, then, some piece of, that are sincere in their shamelessness, scanlessness, and they don't have no shame. So we have to create our own environment and be really careful who we allow into our internal space.
Yeah, I feel you on that.
Yeah.
Obviously you told us that did not grow up with your dad in the picture that much, and your mom had a rough life growing up. So I just wanted to ask you, like, you obviously had to, get yours by yourself. You had to get it by yourself. Did your hustle start with just rapping?
Nah, I was selling PCP when I was 15 years old.
Really?
Yeah, so there used to be these old Pepsi bottles that were like little like this. And my neighbor across the street, he used to slang the bottle. So there was an ounce, a half ounce, and a 50 pour. So there was nothing but PCP smokers around the neighborhood. So I would buy a cigarette pack of Cool Sticks, which were the cigarettes, and I would cut them on the top so they were a little shorter, and you just dip them. So when I went to school, I get rid of an ounce, half ounce, 50 pours all over. I had every neighborhood in San Diego getting it from me.
Jeez.
Logan, Shelltown, Lomas, Lomita Village, Encano, Vista. All the OGs will tell you that. I used to buy dope off Little One.
Jeez, that's crazy.
Yeah, real story.
How long did you do that before, like, you started taking rap more as, like, a serious matter?
I did that for a few years, and then I recorded once in a decade.
Really?
And when I recorded once in a decade, I didn't have to do that no more.
That's great.
It was like dope with music.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It just goes hand in hand.
Yeah, it's the same hustle, same thing.
Okay. I want to touch on the fact that you were in a gang, and I wanted to know at what age you were or joined or initiated into that gang.
Well, you don't. There is no age.
There's no age?
No, it's like if you're born in an environment of lions and tigers, you're just one of them.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get jumped in and then you're a tiger. You're just a tiger. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
That's just the way it was. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, hey, tomorrow at 12, come by the park. We're going to fuck you up and you're one of us. There were some people that came from a different environment and different places that went through that process, but like we didn't. Like we were born there, we were raised there, and we were that.
You were just already a part of it because you were
Yeah,
there.
like it just went, you know what I'm saying? Like that's just what it was. It's like you. You are my good friend's son. So I've known you for a long time, but we don't know each other personally. Like we never went jet skiing together or that.
Yeah.
But I see you the way I see Flossie. If anyone's a threat to you, then they're a threat to me because you're part of his bloodline.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Exact same thing.
I think that's the beauty in gangs that get lost in like translation through social media. I feel like it's not shown as much. They just show like the violent part of it nowadays.
Oh man, yeah, it was. I mean, don't get me wrong, man. There was a lot of beauty in that. You know what I'm saying? Like we all grew up like brothers, but like I said, once you start tampering with violence, you know, the dynamic changes. I mean,
Yeah.
I went to a lot of funerals when I was 16 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like, not because of cancer, you know, it was homicide. And that's where I got the whole homicide, suicide for once in a decade, because that was really the business at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. What if you don't mind me asking, what is one time that you had a gang affiliated story that like you're like, oh wow, there's really just the decisions I made right now, it can't get any worse. This is the worst like that I've been in.
I never thought how it could get any worse because that's what you're in. Like
worst.
you're only in that environment. You only know dysfunction, crime, violence, betrayal, and death. So it's not like you're saying, oh, it can't get any worse than that. Like something was off if someone didn't get killed.
So it's just saying it's always just bad. You just get so like.
Yeah, but like you don't know anything else, so you don't know it's bad.
Yeah, what's the like desensitized or
Yeah, like
better word for it?
Yeah, so you wake up in that, and you are that. Like a crocodile doesn't complain that he's in the swamp.
Yeah.
He don't care about the blue waters of Maui, because you know what I'm saying? That's not his environment.
Yeah.
You know, but I will tell you a story. So we were at this place called the Bahia in Mission Bay. And there was like us and then a couple other rival neighborhoods. So we all got into a big old fight. So we were leaving, and we were in a Mustang convertible. And while we were pulling off, they started dumping on us, and my boy's brains got blown up, like right next to me, like JFK. You know what I'm saying? Like it was crazy. Like his brains were like right here.
Dang.
Yeah.
Just happened? Like, was anything, like, any commotion happening, like, before that?
Yeah, we got in a fight with them.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Dang. That's crazy. What was your reaction to that? Was it just, like, because you were a part of it? Was it still, like, normal, or was it?
Yeah, honestly, yeah. It's like, I'm not proud of this, but it's like you spawn yourself into that environment. You know, like we are raised to not show any fear. If you allowed anybody to like speak to you a certain way, like there was blows, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so by that time I had already been to 15 funerals, you know what I'm saying? So it was just the moment that I saw that, it's like, okay, now we got to retaliate. So while now your average 15-year-old kid is, you know, going to school on his skateboard or riding his bike or boogie boarding or, you know, on his tablet, we were loading up double-barrel shotguns and M1 rifles in broad daylight.
Yeah, with no second thoughts of it either,
No,
huh?
none, zero. Because remember, at that time, you're still not aware of the dishonor. You're still not aware of the hypocrisy in that environment. At that moment, you're still pure and sincere to what you're doing and what you're representing.
Yeah. Well, what were some artists that you grew up with or have known since a young age when you first started rapping?
Artists now? Like
artists now, artists from the past. But
that are my friends, you mean, or that I grew up with?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, anybody who's really anybody from my era, like Mr. Shadows, my broski, Night Owl, Little Rob, all the LA rappers, Too many to name. Like all those dudes, you know, we all ran into each other. You know what I'm saying? But all the San Diego ones, like even like Dice, you know, like Dice was, you know, he was a graffiti artist. You know what I mean? And now he's one of the most successful clothing brands in the world. You know?
Yeah. That's amazing. It seems like you guys from San Diego really like kicked off the Chicano Rap movement, I feel like.
Oh, yeah, we sure did, bro.
It started from San Diego. My dad was just telling me about that, the stories and stuff from it. I think it's really amazing how you guys just came from nothing and then brought it up like that.
Yeah, but your dad was a big part of that.
Yeah, he tells me stories all the time about, like, he tells me stories I swear I've heard all of them. But he brings up a new one that's like...
You know how many gangsters have been outside your house, bro, in your lifetime?
I know.
Bro, you have no idea, bro.
I do have no idea.
Some are in Pelican Bay in the shoe program right now for the rest of their life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I wish I was like my brother's age. I would have been like more like into the rap game because my brother was a little kid when all these rappers and everybody were outside, all these gangsters were outside, and they saw him just as, you know... My dad's little son, T Fresh, you know?
Well, bro, we all know you since you were a little kid, you know what I mean? But like I said, like that's your pops has a lot of respect from all of us, you know what I'm saying? Like no one will ever approach him in a negative way because there's a price to pay for that.
Yeah. My dad was also just showing me like all the music that you've put out and everything, and we were like discussing it, and I was thinking like I've gone through like all like my favorite rappers from like nowadays and even like older rap artists, and I swear you have one of like the most music and most like songs put out that I've seen. Like, how long have you been in the game, and how many songs would you say a year when you were like really into it were you putting out? How many?
Yeah, albums? There's like no. Yeah, it's not like I'm gonna do this. Like this is what you do. Like again, the sincerity. When you're in the studio, that's how you do. You know what I'm saying? Listen, we were just in the studio. There's a lot of like my older albums that I don't even really like because I was just dysfunctional and faded recording. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
This
like
all you knew.
That's it, bro. Just talking a bunch of crap. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's sick though. Just being able to have like such like a passion for it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, man. Like I've always said, if God came down here and was like, hey, dude, like, you're not going to make any money from this for the rest of your life, I'll be in the studio the next day. Don't matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It like wasn't a job for you.
Nah, it was love, bro. It's my passion still is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I want to ask you about your past like beefs and problems with other people. I wanted to know if it had a like more positive impact or a negative impact with your rap career.
I would say both, you know, because there's a lot of egos in this game, and your ego is your worst enemy. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, you grow up being led by your ego, and being an egotistical person is going to get you in a lot of problems. And you know, when you're in that state, I made a lot of mistakes during that time too. I didn't care though. You know what I mean? You have a ruthless state of mind. So some of those things impacted me in a negative way where people didn't want to work with me, or people, you know, had things to say about me. And other times it works for you because people know better than to cross you, you know. But, you know, as time goes on, like those things kind of fix themselves when you transform yourself. You know what I'm saying? When you just become a better dude and, you know, you're pure about it. You know, like when you're good privately, it shows publicly.
Yeah. Do you think that like well, you said being egotistical is just not like good at all for this like type of industry.
It's not good, period.
Do you think artists like get mixed up between being like egotistical and being confident?
No, bro. There's more ego than there is. You will know a confident person because he won't speak with his ego.
Yeah.
You know the difference between somebody that knows they're great at what they do and someone that just talking vomit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, for real. Like, look at Nas. When do you see Nas flashing on social media? You don't.
Not.
You know what I'm saying? But he knows he's one of the greatest.
Yeah.
But you don't see him flashing money. You don't see him talking stupidity. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's got investments in companies that you don't even imagine. But he does it privately, you know. And and not even just in hip hop. I mean, just, you know, the poison in your mind is mostly because of our ego. You know, if I've learned anything about the power of time, is that time doesn't even really exist. You know what I'm saying? Time only exists for practical matters. Like there's chronological time, which is minutes and hours, and psychological time, which is moments and memories. So we get captivated and captive to the psychological time, and it robs us of right now. That's how dysfunction starts. Or you get so caught up in the future and the what ifs that it robs you of right now. And being right now in the moment is bliss.
Yeah.
When you're in the moment, where nothing else matters but the moment. If this house turned on fire right now, do you think you're going to be wondering where your girl's at?
No.
No, bro. If this house was on fire, if your dad got in a car accident, if something happened to my kids, you think I'm going to care about not making the meeting tomorrow at 4?
Nah.
That's because you're in the moment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we could actually train our brain to just stay in the moment. You know, you just have to be sincere about it.
Yeah. I think that's a really powerful message you just said.
It's the truth.
Yeah. As far as artists goes, my dad says that you have the most rational gangster mentality. How do you move around and make money, like, to keep yourself and keep that reputation?
Well, I use my purity, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot, like I told you, I know a lot of art. Like, there's never going to be people that, you're never going to have a shortage of people wanting to record music. So I've been in the game. So we use our relationships. We use our tools in order for me to put my name into, attach my name to something. Then that's how you make money. Like, okay, cool. I'm going to bring you to my studios, to my people, my distribution, my film people. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And your record will have an actual real production with real features, real quality, real release date, real distribution, real videos with real promotion, and you're going to get a real result. Mm-hmm. You know? Yeah. That's how.
That's sick. Nowadays, do you still like put out tracks nowadays, or have you stopped or slowed it down?
Yeah, tracks? Bro, I just released the album, the Ruthless, July 24th. One of my best albums, but because of where I'm at as a person, where I could actually engage in the hip hop, competitive world and compete, confidently.
Yeah.
So I did that, and then me and Shadow just released the Missed Us on Halloween. So that was pretty dope.
That's sick. That's sick. My dad does tell me that you're a really motivational person now today. He tells me that you give uplifting messages to your friends regularly. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, I spend a lot of my time alone. You know what I'm saying? Like, as you grow as a person, you start filtering out the things that are not good for you, the things that are a threat to your growth and your serenity. I mean, look at your father. Your father has provided a beautiful home, safety, respect, honor, good value. He leads by example. There's no parasitical shit going on here. You know what I'm saying? So when you build that type of environment, that's your drive. So he's one of my closest friends to now, but I only have like 3. You know what I'm saying? So what I do is I wake up and I take a shower, I read, and I train. So I go down my list on my phone to whoever I talk to the day before, whether it's business, whether it's about a barbecue, whether it's about how's your brother doing, you know what I'm saying? And I'll send them the reads. So I'm going to get your number, and I'm going to get your number, Ethan, and I'm going to send you guys reads every morning.
I think that's really, it plays a big part in people's lives, especially
look,
simple thing like that.
I mean, bro, if you're pure to yourself and you really open up yourself to engage in something positive, how could it hurt you? You could invest in real estate and lose. You could buy a car and lose. You could buy chains and lose. But how are you going to lose investing in yourself? Yeah. Nurturing your spirit. How are you going to lose becoming a better human? You can't lose. And no one
very
can
true.
take it from you.
It's very true, very true. Do you see yourself as a mentor for younger kids trying to get into the rap game?
I don't like the word mentor. You know what I'm saying? I'm just me. I still make mistakes. And, you know, I don't like an attachment where people like I don't like praise. I don't like people telling me, oh, my God. I've cut that shit immediately. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just want to be left alone, and I just want to do what I do best and be a good person, be a good father, be a good friend, and make good decisions and do everything that I do privately. And like I said, it just shows publicly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Do you for the future do you see yourself still doing rap in the future or getting into something different?
Yeah, like I like the podcast stuff. I like if Dr. Dre told me tomorrow, like, hey, dog, we're gonna do an album and you're gonna sell 10 million records, or if I could have a platform to speak about growth, I'll take the platform to speak about growth.
That's sick. That's sick. Do you think that comes with just like having done so much rapping, or just like
it just comes
wanting
with
to
getting the rewards of being a good person?
Yeah.
With engaging and with the rewards of transforming your life, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
there's so many people up there. All they really need is a hug and some fucking advice.
Yeah.
Like I said, it goes back to the leadership. They look up to the wrong people. Bro, what kind of man is going to give a 15-year-old dude an M1 rifle to go put holes in someone's body? Does that sound like a good leader to you?
No.
No. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we have to change that.
Yeah, very much. You have a very unique style of rapping. If people didn't know, Uno has a very his rapping stands out from the rest of everybody else. And I was wondering if you could show us like a little bit of something that you have in your books or one of like your songs that makes you so unique.
I don't think it makes me unique, but I mean,
be able to stand out from the rest.
I mean,
just not
like I've been able to
average.
like master words where I could be like, "Hey, I finna get ready to go to the store. Do you guys want anything?" You know what I'm saying? Or I'll be like, "Hey, dog, you gonna be making it right at the light?" You know what I'm saying? Just shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
Do you find yourself like doing that like regularly?
Not anymore, but I did a lot. Like when I would go to radio stations all over the country, and I'd be like, "Hey, any caller, call in right now. I'll give you $1,000 cash if you could repeat. One in a battle, a man in my level will get him a bullet and drop, and he thought of a man that'll try to get wise." And no one was ever able to do it. So that's really it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's pretty sick. A lot of people, I can barely understand what you were saying out there. So like, I think that's a really sick talent to have. You talked about an album that you have coming out. Can you tell me about it and everyone, or can you tell me about everyone who's gonna be on it or anybody who's gonna be featured?
I don't have an album coming out, but I have an album that just came out.
Oh, it just came out.
Yeah. So, Shadow from San Diego is one of the best. Floss, can you grab some of this? What's that? Can you record some of this, please? Yeah, absolutely. Sorry. So, on Halloween, the project The Mistus came out with me and Shadow, a legend, one of the best lyricists in the game. And in July, my album Ruthless came out. So those are the two major projects. I got Young Nasi. He came out, another artist from Los Angeles, and I did a Spanish project, Los Enfermos. So that's this year. Next year, we got my boy Finis coming out, Shadow solo project coming out, Hollow Point coming out, Adi, my artist under my wing, coming out. So the music is never going to end. You know what I'm saying? Like, music is timeless. Music has no age, dog. No face, no color. Music is timeless, just like us. You have no age. I have no age. You motherfuckers got no age. We're all timeless spirits, dog. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You got to remember that, bro. And that's just the honest truth. Like, if you listen to Anita Baker's voice right now, you're going to feel the same way the man felt in the 1960s. That's because it's timeless. Yeah. People need to remember that.
Yeah, I never even really thought about it like that. But now
it's
that
the
you
truth.
put it into perspective, yeah, it really is. You could have somebody who's like 60, 70-year-old, and they'll be still like, they have the opportunity to love and listen to the same music you do.
It's like when people ask me about my sobriety. How long have you been sober? I never give them a time because it shouldn't change anything. If you're engaging in a journey of sobriety and you're sincere about it, who cares if it's 6 months, 6 years, or 6 days? If you're sincere about your journey and being sober, you shouldn't have somebody judge you or look at you differently based on time. Because time isn't real anyway. The sincerity in your journey is what's real. The purity in your journey is what's real. You can meet a person that is unpure and meet a person that is pure. You won't give a fuck about the age. You'll go with the pure person. And you will feel their purity the moment that you engage with them. Just like you will feel the dysfunction in a dysfunctional dude the moment that you engage with them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's how I see it.
Yeah. I love the way that you think. It's such a great positive way to think on things.
Yeah, I mean, madness comes from the misuse of your mind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You mishandle your thoughts and you mishandle your emotions, you're going to mishandle your life. You're going to mishandle your decision making. You know what I'm saying? If I'm mean to you with words, the only thing I'm going to do is make you not like me, so I'm really just going to hurt myself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, if we can engage with the tools to live a better life and a more productive life based on purity, it's like, do you want to be with a girl, bro, that you can build a life with and have children with, and she can support you and you can support her? Or do you want a girl to fucking post pictures on Instagram with?
Obviously the first one.
Okay, because that's pure. That's the pure, sincere shit. You know what I'm saying? Whoever it is that you engage with in your life has to be a part of your purpose. They have to be in agreement with what you do. And that's symbiosis. When you have symbiosis, then there's mutualism and everybody wins. Then you have the parasites and you have parasitic relationships where you give and they take. There's nothing healthy about that.
Yeah. All right, well, that's all the time we have for today. Mr. Lil Uno.
Yeah, bro.
If you want to, drop your IG so everybody can check you out, keep up to date with what you post.
Ask him about his other names. What do we go by?
Oh, yeah. You have a lot of names that you go by other than Mr. Lil One.
The Boogeyman, Uno, Little Uno, Mr. Little One. Fucking Ruthless. Yeah, that's really it. You know what I'm saying? The Boogeyman was because I was such a monster. I would come to a nice, quiet environment and turn it into a disaster in less than 2 seconds. You know what I'm saying? And that is, again, like some people run into me now and they're like, dude, I can't believe this is you. You know what I'm saying? Like, there is a big difference in real transformation and fabrication. Some people will like to make you believe that they are someone they really are not. You know what I'm saying? And that goes again back to the power of when you're good in private, dude, you don't have to say anything. It shows publicly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, but I'm Reyes, bro. I'm Reyes.
Reyes. Well, once again, thank you so much for being on the podcast, coming out here.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And anytime you need me, bro, I'm here, whether we got to burn somebody's house down or do the podcast.
For sure, for
All
sure.
right.
I'll keep that in mind. All right. Thank you, everybody, for watching. See you next time.
Yo, it's Little Uno and I'm all there.
It's the podcast with the Prodigy. It's the podcast